What's going on, everybody? I am back with another Prize Picks NBA player props video. This one going to be breaking it down, giving you guys 5 picks to get you winning some money over here on Prize Picks. As always, coming off a 4-1 night last night. Ja Morant let us down, man. Really stinks, but we're continuing to stay hot. We were on a 13-2 run. We are now on a 17-3 run. So if you've been watching the content, you should be winning a lot of money. If you enjoy this content, it would be greatly appreciated if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. Really appreciate all the support. We got last video up to 430 likes or something around there, so let's aim for 500 on this one. 500 likes. There's thousands of people watching this, man. There was over 4,000 people that watched the last one. There's no reason we cannot get to 500 likes. It's free. It takes 2 seconds. I'm working hard on these videos, and I've been giving you guys winners for free, man. So, I mean, help me out with that. And if you're getting very serious, would highly recommend you check out the premium content packages. If you like the free content, I promise you, you're really going to like the premium and you're really going to like the VIP member package. This package that I've put together is a no-brainer. I'm up working hard, constant, 12 hours, research. I've been doing this for a long time. I know what I'm doing. It's $49.99 a month. That equates to $1.66 a day to get direct access to all of my picks for all apps, all of my tickets. Every single person that's joined has been raging about it. They say you make your money back quick. There's people in the Discord reaching out to other people selling the product for me, which, thank you. I appreciate your support, but word of mouth gets out. If you think I'm a ripoff, if you think it's too much, if you think, whatever you think, give it a try. Hop in the Discord, ask people what they think about it. You're going to find out real quick it's not. There's always going to be haters out there. There's always going to be someone complaining. But I can promise you, I put together a fair package. It compensates me for a little bit for the time I'm putting in. If I were to charge an hourly wage for the amount of work I put in for this, it'd be a lot more than $49.99 a month. It'd be probably $49.99 an hour minimal. So I want it to be affordable. That is the goal. I really want to help the community. And that's why I do these videos for free as well. So like I said, hit that like button on this video. If you haven't checked out the VIP, check that out. And if you haven't checked out Prizepicks, check them out. It is a player props website and app where you can win money off of picking the over and under on things like players' points, rebounds, assists, fantasy score, etc. Go ahead and use that promo code KJK DFS to receive an instant match on your first deposit up to $100 today. Again, that is code KJK DFS. Go to lock that in, get that free money offer, and start winning some money over here on Prizepicks with these picks today, guys. Let's go for this 5-0 sweep. Want the 5-0 sweep bad. I promise I want it just as bad as you guys. I'm up grinding, looking at this research, so I want it to pay off. So let's talk about it. Let's get into the important stuff, the plays. We'll go game by game as we always do. And the first game that I want to discuss is going to be the Toronto Raptors taking on the Indiana Pacers. This game comes in with a 229.5 over-under. It is a 1.5 point spread in favor of Indiana, so it's expected to stay close. Expected to be a pretty decently paced game here. Second highest total on the entire slate. And for good reason. The Pacers play at a very fast pace. Any game that they're in, the Pacers play at a fast pace, no pun intended, but they're third in the entire league. Anytime they're involved in the game, it's going to be a fast, up-tempo game environment. There should be some pretty good fantasy goodness. And I want to talk about Miles Turner at the center position. He has been phenomenal from a fantasy point per minute aspect on the season. You look at the top fantasy point per minute producers on the slate at the center position. Miles Turner is number 1. That is right. 1.4 Prizepicks fantasy points per minute. That tops Joel Embiid. He is putting up more fantasy points per minute than Joel Embiid is, and his line is not set according over here on Prizepicks. You look at his fantasy score line as far as what they've got him set at. 35.5 fantasy score. He has cleared this easily the last 2 times out. He was working his way back from injury. He had a few down games. But this guy's an absolute block machine. He's going to play a lot of minutes in close games. The only issue that he's having is foul trouble, which is a legitimate concern. However, with that being said, he got in some serious foul trouble last time out against Denver. Only played 26 minutes, which typically he's going to play, 30 plus. And he still cleared his over. That is how good he's been from a fantasy point per minute production aspect. Now, if he can stay out of foul trouble, he should be able to put up 40 plus fantasy points very, very easily with his per minute rates. 1.4 fantasy points per minute if he plays 30 minutes. We're talking about 40 plus fantasy points very easily. Really, foul trouble is the only thing that could stop him. And even with that being said, like I said, last time out, he dealt with that foul trouble. He had 5 fouls. He was in foul trouble the whole game. You look at his fouls the last few games, 4, 3, 4, 4, 5. So obviously he's been having a little bit of foul trouble. However, he is an absolute block machine. You get 3 points for every one of those blocks and steals. For those of you that don't know how the scoring works over here on Prizepicks as far as the fantasy score, I'll pull it up here. you get 1 point for every point, 1.2 points for every rebound, 1.5 for every assist, 3 points for every block, 3 points for every steal, and -1 points for every turnover. So blocks and steals are very significant for fantasy score. It tends to be the one thing that usually makes me go to the fantasy score rather than points, rebounds, and assists. Points, rebounds, and assists is probably the best next alternative besides fantasy score. The only negative to fantasy score is you do get those negative points for the turnovers. But you look at Miles Turner's game logs as far as his turnover results, he really hasn't been turning the ball that much over. Only 1-0 the last 2 times out. 3-4, 2-2. Typically, 2-3 turnovers a game. That's not going to kill us, especially with the block output. I mean, he just blocks so many shots, man. 4, 5, 2, 3, 3, 3 blocks. 3 blocks, 1 steal. 3 blocks, that's an automatic 9 fantasy points without even counting any of his rebounds, points, or assists. So that's a quick 10 points to contribute to this line if he gets those 3 blocks, which he's been doing consistently. There's a lot more upside for more. He can score a bunch as well. We saw him put up a big game earlier in the season, his season high in points, where he went out there and dropped 37 points. So guy has a lot of upside. Really do think this line's too low. Pick number 1, and we're going to be rocking with the over 35.5 fantasy score here for Miles Turner. Would not be surprised in the least to see this line climb up to the high 30s, if not into the 40s before this season's over, pretty soon. So take advantage while we can. Pick number 1, taking the over 35.5 fantasy score for Miles Turner. That will be pick number 1 here. Pick number 2, Atlanta Hawks taking on the Philadelphia 76ers is going to be the next game we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this game just barely happened. We did get news that the Atlanta Hawks backup center is ruled out. Forgive me for probably butchering his name right now, but it's something along the lines of Agongwu or something. But regardless, I know who he is. I know the minutes he plays. He usually backs up Clint Capella. I was on Clint Capella in the same exact game these guys just played last time out. We took his rebounds. He crushed, and I expect him to crush once again. Why? The Sixers have Joel Embiid. They need Clint Capella defensively in this matchup. Joel Embiid is the number 1 option on the Philadelphia 76ers. Clint Capella is a fantastic defensive stopper. They are going to want him in the game to stop Joel Embiid. Naturally, his minutes are going to go up, and you look at his rebounding rates over the last few games, they have been really, really good. His rebounding chances have been really, really good as well. He's putting up about a 26% rebound percentage over the last 3-4 games, I think. I was reading an article earlier. He's getting 17.7 rebounding chances per game, where he's converting on 66% of those. Now, once again, I think that 17 number is going to be a little bit higher in this particular matchup because they need him on the floor for those minutes with Joel Embiid. The guy didn't even play that many minutes last time out, all things considered. And he still crushed this rebounding prop. 26 minutes. We have seen him play 30-plus at times. Joel Embiid typically plays 30-plus. I talked about it last time. I wouldn't have been surprised to see him creep into the 30-minute mark. Now the Atlanta Hawks backup center is out for tonight due to personal reasons. So I definitely would not be surprised to see Clint Capella's minutes ramp back up into the 30s. They need him for the defense against Joel Embiid, especially with the backup center. And Ogubamwe are ruled out. I should just pull his name up here. Okongwu. There we go. That's who I was trying to think of. But regardless, I know the role he plays. He's the backup center. Clint Capella now going to be relied on even more heavier. One of the best centers in the league. I was looking it up earlier. He has the 4th best, I believe, defensive rating. So top 4 in defensive rating as a center. Yeah, good things for the rebounding numbers. And then lastly, he is a favorite on major sportsbooks. The latest line on Mr. Clint Capella, as far as his 11.5 rebound line, he is a -130 favorite to hit the over here. So pick number 2, taking the over 11.5 rebounds. He's been crushing 19, 20, 12, 19. He's pushing 20 rebounds a game. Take advantage of this prop while you can. The backup center's out, and they need him on the floor to defend Joel Embiid. So everything lining up for Clint Capella to be able to crush this line once again. Pick number 2, rocking with the over 11.5 rebounds for Clint Capella. That will be pick number 2 here. Pick number 3. We are going to talk about the other side, the Philadelphia 76ers, and we're going to talk about another pick we just took last time. Literally, Tobias Harris, fantasy score. Same thing we took last time. The line has not changed. The line is too low. You look at the fantasy score over here on Prizepicks for Tobias Harris. He's got a 32.5 fantasy score line. He has hit this in 4 of the last 5. He played terrible last time out besides the steals. He was able to get us there with the steals. I talk about blocks and steals all the time with the fantasy score if you've been watching my content. I'm going to continue to preach it. When I target fantasy score, a lot of times it's because the guy doesn't turn the ball over. He's got some block and steal upside, and he can contribute in all categories. Tobias Harris, last time out, didn't play good outside of the steals. He only had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 12 points. That's terrible for him. He's been consistently putting up, 15, 16 plus points, getting into the 20s in points. He's been putting up 8 or 9 rebounds a game to go along with 3, 4, 5, 6 assists. Did not get the job done in that category last time out and still managed to hit his over on fantasy score with 5 steals. This line is not adjusted accordingly. I do have him projected to absolutely crush this line. Looking at my latest projections on my projection model, I've got Tobias Harris projected to put up about 38 fantasy points here. So 32.5 lines, too low. He's going to crush this line by, 5 or more, in my opinion. His ceiling's a lot higher. I've got him being able to go out there and put up 40 plus, as he's done multiple times as of late. 46, 40 fantasy points. Once again, the only time he didn't hit this was against Washington, where he barely missed it with a 31.8 fantasy score. So this line continues to be too low. You look at his fantasy point per minute production on the season as far as what he's putting up on a permanent basis. Tobias Harris is putting up about 1 fantasy point per minute. He's going to play mid-30s to upper 30s a minute. So you do the math. If he plays 35 minutes, he's going to put up 35 fantasy points. 1 fantasy point per minute. It's that simple. He's going to play mid-30s to upper 30s. He's been playing 34, 34, 37, 38, 34 minutes. So this 32.5 fantasy score line is too low. Once again, he was able to surpass this last line for us with those steals. He does have block and steal upside. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot being a wing player. And he usually scores and rebounds a lot better than he did last time. So last time, I think it was way more of a sweat than it needed to be. I'm going right back to the well here. Tobias Harris, over 32.5 fantasy score. Pick number 3. Pick number 4. We're going to be talking about his teammate. And a guy I think fantasy score line is too high. And that is Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has not been producing at a high rate on the season from a fantasy point aspect. He is putting up record low numbers for himself. We talked about the numbers for Miles Turner, putting up 1.4 fantasy points per minute. Joel Embiid is only putting up 1.33 fantasy points per minute. He does have a 35% usage rate. He is Joel Embiid. He's a very good player. And he is a heavy favorite to hit the over 27.5 points. But the thing is, he's not doing it in a lot of other categories. And Prizepicks has his line inflated way up, man. I mean, this is way too high in my opinion. A 50.5 fantasy score. He's only hit this once in the last 5 games against Phoenix, where he barely cleared the over with a 52.5 fantasy score. He's playing in the mid-30s to upper 30s, oftentimes mid-30s, and once again, he's only putting up 1.33 fantasy points per minute. So you do the math, he's not going to drop 50 fantasy points. And I talked about the defensive stopper and Clint Capella. Clint Capella, top 3-4 defensive center in the entire league. Great shot blocker. He's going to make it tough in the paint. The Atlanta Hawks have been phenomenal around the rim from an overall defensive aspect as well, and from a defensive aspect overall. Atlanta ranks 7th in the entire league in points per possession rank in the half court. They've been doing a great job of shutting down opposing teams. And then when we're looking at the defensive shooting accuracy sheet, as far as my premium tools, as far as how they're doing in the paint, Atlanta's also been very, very good at defending the paint. Their rim rank, any sort of shot at the rim within 4 feet of the basket, they're 2nd in the entire league. So they've not been giving up a lot of points to opposing centers. They've been tough. Joel Embiid's the #1 option on this team, especially with there being no James Harden. All the attention is going to be put on Joel Embiid. I do think we're getting some nice positive correlation here as well. I do think they're going to really be focusing on Joel Embiid, so obviously they're going to need Tobias Harris to step up on the other end. So when Tobias is contributing, when Tobias is grabbing those rebounds, obviously when he's getting good points, Joel Embiid can't get those points. So some nice positive correlation. If Tobias Harris goes out there and has a good game, takes away those fantasy points from Joel Embiid, that's a nice correlation for us. Because we don't want Joel Embiid to do good, and we want Tobias to do good, obviously. So I do think this is a nice little correlation within the 5 picks that I have going. Pick number 4 going to be, less on Joel Embiid. I hit the more. Less, I wish I didn't do that. I don't want people seeing a visual, but less on Joel Embiid. I just talked about it for a long time. So going on the under Joel Embiid, 50.5 fantasy score. And yeah, so that's going to be pick number 4, I believe. Let's see. Let's go through them real quick. We talked about Miles Turner, pick number 1, over fantasy score. Clint Capella, over on the rebounds. Pick number 2. Pick number 3, we're rocking with the over for Tobias Harris. Fantasy score, pick number 4. Taking the under on Joel Embiid's fantasy score. And pick number 5. Last pick on the video, rounding things out here, is going to be the Houston Rockets, New Orleans Pelicans game that I'm talking about. It is a 233 over-under, 10.5 point spread in favor of the New Orleans Pelicans. So Pelicans have a huge team total with a 121.75 implied team total, as they should. The Houston Rockets have been terrible defensively. The Houston Rockets have also been playing at a very fast pace. They are 8th in the entire league as far as pace is concerned. The Pelicans currently coming as 17th in the league. So a nice pace-up matchup for the New Orleans Pelicans. And I want to talk about Zion Williamson. He is a big favorite to hit his over on his points on the books. His points prop actually already got bumped over here on Prizepicks, I know. It was at 24.5. It's now at 25.5. But one prop that has not got bumped, at least at the time of recording this video, is his points, rebounds, and assists. Zion has been phenomenal for the most part on the season. The New Orleans Pelicans have a very good team. He's hit the over on this in 3 of his last 5, and I expect him to have some really great success here against this Houston Rockets team. Once again, that has been really bad. You look at Zion as far as how he's getting the job done. He's going to rebound, he's going to score, and he will get those assists. I mean, on a team with a bunch of talented shooters around him, against a Houston Rockets team, by the way, that has been dreadful since Alperen Sengun take over at center. They ranked 29th in the league. That's second to last in points allowed in the paint. Actually had a visual brought up for that I closed out on accident. I wish I could bring that up, but regardless, they're 29th. Bottom 2 in the league. Zion Williamson, we know, he's going to attack the paint. He's going to be able to dunk on anyone. Would not be surprised in the least to see Sengun end up on a poster tonight with Zion dunking over him, to be honest with you. So, just hasn't been a good rim presence. I think Zion's going to be able to surpass his points prop at that 24.5. He is a heavy favorite. He also is a heavy favorite on the points, rebounds, and assist line, though, and this line has not been bumped. Once again, a bunch of talent around him. You look at the shooters around him. Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, CJ McCollum, great shooters. So not only can he score, but he's going to be able to dish it out, and we know he can jump through the roof, and we know he's going to grab those rebounds as well. Looking at Zion Williamson's rebounding chances on the entire season as far as how many he's getting per game or just how many rebounds he's getting total. We'll just look at the game logs, but I mean, it's 6, 5, 7, 8 rebounds the last 1, 2, 3, 4 games. Then the assists, 3-1 the last 2 times out. Didn't have the best, but we've seen him get 7 assists, 4 assists, 7 assists in 2 straight games before. So that's not a fluke. He has really been able to contribute in all the categories. I think he continues to be able to do so tonight against a Houston Rockets team that plays at a very fast pace. And then they're dead last in the entire league in effective field goal percentage rank, so they're allowing the most shots to be made as far as an effective field goal percentage. And then when we're looking at the defensive half-court and putbacks tool for me, they're 29th in points per possession rank. They're also 30th in the league in half-court percentage of plays, so they're allowing a lot of plays to be ran against them. So every single thing you could possibly be looking for, really, you got to like here. So pick number 5. Rocking with the over 35.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Zion Williamson. And that is going to be my 5 picks. Get you winning some money over here on Prizepicks in the NBA tonight, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. Let's get this thing up to 500 likes. We got up to the low 400s last time out. It's free. It takes 2 seconds. It really does help me out. So let's get this thing up to 500, guys. Trying to go 5-0, keep this hot streak alive. If you're looking for more picks, tonight would be a great night to sign up for the premium, man. There's a lot of injury news going on right now. I'm waiting on more picks on the board. I was able to get these 5 out to my premium members for the big ticket released to you guys, but there's going to be a lot more picks that I like. The VIP member package, once again, you will get every single pick for every single app, all my combinations, all my tickets. I know a lot of people, they're like, well, I did good on my picks, but I couldn't find the right combinations. You know, I do have a method method to my madness as far as how I do it, and I will send all of my tickets to the VIP member package. Just make sure you get in the Discord when you sign up. Message me on Patreon. I can help you out with anything you need. So it's all for me, man. Wishing you all the best of luck on your NBA player props picks tonight, and we will see you in the next one.